It's going to be a very, very long election season.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have what again?
a great show for you today. We have three great videos for you that I think you're going to like. Welcome aboard E2247. How are you doing, my dear brother from all over? Lee Grant from Montgomery County. Welcome aboard. We also have in the house Bridge MCP from Binghamton, New York, upstate New York. We also have Yvette Avery Herod from Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome aboard. We also have AVQ El Señor Michael Rattner from Brooklyn, New York. Welcome aboard, my friend. Great to see everybody in the house. We got a little slow start here. But anyway, we are going to get busy till all those emails go out that say, hey guys, we're active, we are on. Where are you people? ¿Dónde están todos mis amigos? Anyway, let's get busy. Great news is the firing into her retirement of third highest U.S. diplomat, Victoria Nuland, formerly POTUS Dick Cheney's advisor and Obama's diplomat. Yep, I heard that interview that she gave today. Did Nuland advise Cheney to lie to Powell? I don't think so, but who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Melanie Keelan is in the house from Barcelona, Spain. Biden is violating the Foreign Assistance Act, that bars foreign military support to states restricting delivery of humanitarian aid. Democratic senators sent him a new letter this week on that. I am glad they're doing that. E2247 also says letter to Inspector General of the United States State Department from Veterans for Peace Cities. 6 laws Biden is breaking in support of Israeli genocide in Palestine, and we got to get that taken care of. But Schumer gave us a good start. Lee Grant says, glad to see the posse and Biden finally addressing the border crisis. 7.2 million migrants have illegally crossed U.S. border under Biden, exceeding the population of 36 states. Go calculate how many have done so under Trump and under other administrations. And let's count the numbers correctly. A lot of those numbers are what's known as duplicates. In fact, I've spoke to a guy who works with the Coyotes before, and the way the Coyote system work, and by the way, the Coyotes are not all Mexican. The Coyotes are Mexican and Americans, right? They have a network that is well designed with a few people on the inside to look the other way as they're passing past the appropriate points. But it's all computerized and well organized, and they get several chances to come over, to be smuggled over. So it's a network, and that network also is tied in with American business, because American business wants that labor, that abusive type labor that they use. So things are not always the way they seem, and all the people that are really maligning our undocumented workers, remember, a lot of them, that's just for show, because they want them. They want them. I repeat, they want them. There is no border crisis. Exactly. Republicans are trying to gin up an issue as fear mongering for the xenophobes and their election prospects as usual. Republicans could have passed the bipartisan Southern Border Defense Bill, but Trump said no. And why did Trump say no? Trump said no because he doesn't want Biden to have a successful issue. So that's where we are, people. That's where we are. Anyway, let's see what else is there. TikTok. It looks like there are so many calls that these senators are getting, and they're realizing the power of crowdsourcing, that now they're slowing down this process to have TikTok taken over or have TikTok shut down. Look, they should have been honest up front. Let's be clear here. We can't run Facebook. We can't run Instagram and all these things in China, right? China doesn't allow them in the way that we would like it allowed. So, should we allow a Chinese company to have come to the United States and establish, let's say, TikTok? Here's the truth. If you wanted to do something, you should have done something before TikTok grew, because this is about reciprocity, right? I want to read, maybe I can find it. One of our members on the Pacifica Network board sent out an email, and part of that email was condemning China and all this kind of stuff for what they're, for what they're doing, etc., etc. And my stance was quite a bit different. First of all, I think they should have been honest and went with reciprocity, right? In other words, they shouldn't lie and tell Americans that somehow this is an existential problem. This is a problem with these guys stealing our people's data, etc. It's not true. It simply is not true. That's not really the problem. So what I did as an answer is I said the following. This is what I said, and it went like this. We have covered and continue to cover TikTok, the Gaza genocide, and many other topics on our various talk shows at KPFT. Moreover, in my coverage, I included articles and newsletters that I write throughout the internet and social media. Our KPFT programs are on audio port for all to see, our blogging and social media platforms. The work is already being done and free for everyone to use. So all the work we do on TikTok and everything else, free for everyone to use. By the way, the TikTok narrative and congressional vote is all wrong. It has nothing to do with national security, but reciprocity. The national security angles show that few have the technical knowledge of how the internet works. China does not need TikTok either get our personal information or to mislead us. Our capitalist platforms have always been willing to sell our souls for the mighty dollar. They can buy all the information on the open market and control us by paying the capitalists for ads of all forms to deceive us all. The reciprocity angle makes more sense and is actually honest. We can't operate Facebook and Instagram, etc., unfettered in China. So why did we allow access to our markets in the first place? Now, millions have established thriving businesses and business models on TikTok, and we are going to kill those businesses for our capitalists profiting in the back end on TikTok. And now, like parasites, the capitalists want to force a sale under false pretenses. It is sad, and these are reasons we are not respected throughout the world because we say one thing and we behave otherwise. Now, let's be clear. TikTok technically is much better than all other platforms. And what do we want to do? What had always been done. We want to conquer TikTok by force. Think about that. We want to conquer TikTok by force. All right, Michael Rudden says, TikTok again? All social media platforms sell their collected data to third-party vendors. That data is then being collected, is being sold and resold, including to rival nations. Thank you. You're a smart man. It's saying that if China owns TikTok, they get our info for free rather than paying a small service fee. Is that serious to the argument, though? Does it really matter if the company is American or Chinese? The social media companies would still sell your data to third parties, which would then resell your data to China or whatever other country was interested. ProPublica from 2012. Yes, companies are harvesting and selling your Facebook profile, personal details from your internet profile, from your professional history to how many friends you have are being collected, analyzed, and sold. Michael Rudnin, now you see why you're a cherished member of the PDR posse, because that nails it. And that is another way of saying exactly what I wrote to our board members who said, we need to cover TikTok and China is really trying to get over us. No, China doesn't need TikTok. TikTok is, doesn't need it. Doesn't need it. Bridge MCP says the following. Representative Matt Gaetz subpoenaed in defamation suit by woman he allegedly had sex with as a minor. Gaetz could be asked under oath about the allegations involving a minor. Snippet. Florida Representative Matt Gaetz on Thursday was served a subpoena to sit for the deposition in a civil lawsuit that involves allegations that he had sex with a 17-year-old girl. Sources tell ABC News as part of the suit brought by friend of the congressman against the young woman and others. Gaetz was issued the subpoena, which has not been previously reported by attorneys representing the woman who is now in her 20s and was at the center of a years-long investigation by the Justice Department into allegations that the Florida congressman had sex with her when she was a minor, sources say. Folks, give us a call if you want to talk as well. 281-823-7747. 281-823-7747. And joining us a little bit late is our one and only good friend from Long Beach. Good afternoon, everyone, according to May Wood. I think it is time for us to go ahead and start our first video with Chuck Schumer. I think you're going to like what he has to say. We think he needs to go quite a bit further, but he hasn't. Alistair Waters is in the house. She says, "Hey y'all, listening today. Let's go to the video and then we'll take it on the other side." One has to ask, why did it take so long? Why did it take so long for a strong Democrat, a leading Democrat, to really come out against Netanyahu and point out that the guy is a genocidal killer? I mean, of course, that's not what Schumer said. He was a lot more kind in the language that he used. But you have to call these people out, not after 30-something thousand dead people, because while you are trying to be nice to a genocidal crook, Netanyahu, you are allowing your bombs to kill thousands. Well, check it out and listen to what Senator Schumer, had to say, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Today, a major development in that growing rift between the U.S. and Israel over the war in Gaza. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, the highest-ranking Jewish elected official in American history, is calling for the Israeli government to hold new elections, saying it's at risk of becoming an international pariah.
As a lifelong supporter of Israel, it has become clear to me the Netanyahu coalition no longer fits the needs of Israel after October 7th. The world has changed radically since then, and the Israeli people are being stifled right now by a governing vision that is stuck in the past.
President Biden has become, I would say, increasingly vocal about his frustration with Prime Minister Netanyahu, but Leader Schumer definitely goes beyond what we have heard before. What can you tell us?
Yeah, it's very significant, Chris, possibly even an inflection point in U.S.-Israel relations. Remember who we're talking about here. It's not only the Senate Majority Leader, not only the most prominent Jewish elected official in the United States, that Schumer is also one of the most prominent pro-Israel Democrats going back years. He's an ardent supporter of Israel's right to exist as a Jewish state, but he believes all of that is now in jeopardy because, in his view, Netanyahu's actions are stripping away the global support Israel needs to continue surviving. Take a listen to some more of what Schumer had to say.
Also believe Prime Minister Netanyahu has lost his way by allowing his political survival to take the precedence over the best interests of Israel. He has shown zero interest in doing the courageous and visionary work required to pave the way for peace, even before this present conflict. Israel cannot survive if it becomes a pariah.
Schumer identified 4 different culprits for the situation in the Middle East, including Hamas and the people who support Hamas. He called out Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas as one of them. He said right-wing radical Israelis in government and society are also to blame, and of course, Prime Minister Netanyahu. Now, reaction is coming in. We heard from Republicans, including the top Republican Senator Mitch McConnell, who said it was grotesque and hypocritical for Americans who talk about democracy at home to try to interfere in a democratically elected foreign leader. Progressives as well say they agree with Schumer that Netanyahu is an extremist, but that this is not enough. In their view, the U.S. needs to use its leverage by withholding aid and weapons to Israel unless it changes course. Now, finally, Chris, the context. We are in an election year. President Biden is trying to engage young voters and progressive voters who are deeply unhappy about the situation in the Middle East and the fact that the U.S. has been unconditionally supporting Israel. President Biden has been very reluctant to change policy, has shifted some rhetoric. The big question becomes, what does President Biden do?
Now, it's about time. It is about time. But you know what? For all those that are laying under the rubbles, for all those that were killed indiscriminately, while the excuse that Israel uses that somehow Hamas is hiding behind them. That's not an excuse. I mean, we here in America wouldn't go if there are criminals hiding behind innocent children. We're not going to blow the building down. Now, America has the same problem Israel has. After all, you kind of killed 10,000 Panamanians or so when you wanted to get that one person, Noriega. But you would think we'll grow up by now. You would think we'll get some more humanity in us after seeing the amount of inhumaneness we've done over the decades and decades and decades. And for us to be funding the genocidal killing of Palestinians in Gaza because we don't want to hurt Netanyahu's feelings, or because we are scared that somebody is going to call us anti-Semitic for being truthful. Most of what I talk about is sanctioned by already many Jewish people, and now even by our leading Jewish politician, which is Senator Schumer. Come on, folks. This is long overdue. It is time for us to do one of two things. As long as, we had people like the Senate leader who comes out and he says, McConnell comes out and says, well, how can another democracy go towards its democratic ally? And we shouldn't be doing that. What do you mean we shouldn't be doing that? How can a democratic ally in our name create genocide, again, using our bombs? You have to make sure the argument is correct. You cannot say, how can we go ahead and get involved into an ally's democracy? Well, that ally has got involved into our democracy by effecting a genocide on a people, and have our politicians, meaning Biden, the potential of losing an election because we are supporting the murder, the genocidal attacks on some of our own constituents, the families of some of our own constituents. Come on, who is really doing the wrong thing here? Who is the humane person here? Who is the one searching and seeking out the humane thing to do? Schumer needs to go a lot further. Schumer needs to say, we're not passing any bills out here while Netanyahu is the prime minister. Take it or leave it. You want Netanyahu as your prime minister? That's fine. Go fight your battle. You want to have a sensible, humane prime minister? Then we'll help you go ahead with our arms. Otherwise, c'est la vie. All right, Michael Rodden says, Egberto, do you think this call for a new election has any teeth to it, or just hot air? It has teeth in this regards. The people around Netanyahu, meaning the people who would challenge Netanyahu, would actually see that as a green light from the United States that just maybe they are going to start cracking down on Netanyahu, and it also gives them permission to go ahead and start the process of getting rid of this genocidal killer. But again, what it says is it's more a message to the Israeli leadership, the Israeli intelligentsia, if you will, that more than likely what we have is Schumer challenging the president. If you notice, the president has not come out and say, "Oh, I disagree with Schumer. We shouldn't get involved into the politics of another country." Well, actually, we are involved in the politics of another country, and that country is actually involved in our politics in that they're using our bombs for genocide, which is then potentially causes us to lose the votes for Biden in Michigan and other places. So no, let's be frank here. He needs to clean it up. Diggs BTW14, welcome. He says, hey, what's up? Well, I'm going to say to Diggs, hey, what's up? 82247 is in the house as well. All right. We also have, Bridge says, before Bridge, let's see. Can we do that? Yeah, we can. We're the United States. We can do anything. I mean, that's not necessarily right, but we can do anything, Michael Rattner. Call for a new election in a foreign land. We do it all the time. In fact, at least with Israel, we're calling for a new election. In Panama, in Haiti, in Nicaragua, we will, if we don't like what the people are doing, we just go in. and we cause a new election. We blow the heads off of a few people and we make things happen. Hey, we're the big bad bullies, man. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying history is there that says yes, we would. Lee Grant says, Rattner, an American politician can call for an election in foreign land, but no one has to listen, right? But in this case, if you're giving them a whole lot of bombs, I think people have to listen. Bridge MCP says, due to criminal charges, Netanyahu resigns from 3 ministerial portfolios. PM had promised to quit welfare, agricultural, and diaspora affairs ministry after charges brought in 3 corruption cases. New ministers likely to be appointed Sunday 2020. That is actually, I think, old news, right? But not only that, Netanyahu, yes, was in power before. He lost, then he came back in power. I don't know what it is that this guy has. Okay, strength and violence, huh, Egberto? Yep. But we're not gonna do that in Israel. Thank you. You know, we can do those killings on a certain group of people. Other people, we don't quite do it that way. Only with some would we do it that way. So we gotta remember that. Anyway, folks, if anybody wants to give me a call at 281-823-7747. I'd like more people to call into this show like we do in the mornings at KPFT. So give us a call. It is 281-823-7747. Don't be shy. Give us a call. We always like to hear from your voices. One more time, 281. What is the other numbers again? 823-7747. Anybody wants to call in? We're all waiting for your calls. Anyway, got another video to show. If no calls come in the next minute, I will go for the next video. It's only about just under 3 minutes long. Actually, it's about 2 minutes and 20-something seconds long. But it's a worthwhile video on Fox News and crime. So let's go ahead and do that now, and then we'll take it on the other side. Fox News continue to scare America. Oh my God, migrant crime. Oh my God, the crime rate is zooming up. Oh my God, the Biden administration is creating the environment for a lot of crime. Well, I think they have the wrong administration. It is under Donald Trump where crime went through the roof. But again, nobody talks about it. And Democrats during that period did not accentuate the reality that crime was going up during Donald Trump's reign. But it is definitely coming down during Biden's reign. Let's take a look at this, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Crime is beginning to spiral out of control.
There's a migrant crime spree killing Americans.
Migrant crime wave, the migrant crime crisis,
the migrant crime,
the growing immigrant crime crisis.
Every third day, there's a story about some sort of migrant crime.
For many, many months, we have all heard about crime sweeping the nation. Migrants and a surge at the border are all to blame. But here's the truth. Migrant crime is not on the rise. Neither is crime overall. In fact, despite what some at Fox News and the right and Republican lawmakers want you to think, the opposite is happening. We're going to show you the numbers because crime is dropping and it's dropping fast. Last year, violent crime dropped 8%. Property crime fell to its lowest level in more than 60 years. And murders plunged at one of the fastest rates of decline ever. But all that manufactured outrage has left Americans with very real fear.
Now, folks, it is time for us to stop being gullible. Now, folks, it is time for us to stop believing the lies that people tell us over and over and over again. It is time for us to use our minds. It's time for us to start getting our information from places we can trust. It is time. Otherwise, the lies that are being told will not affect those who are telling the lies, but it'll affect you. It'll have you making the wrong decisions, and in the process hurting your economic well-being, your health well-being, your education well-being, and everything that you need to make your life satisfying.
spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number 1, subscribe to our channel, and number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.
Absolutely, join us. Join us. All right, continue. Let's see. Michael says strength and violence. Oh, Egberto, yeah, but we're not going to do that to Israel. No, we won't. E2247 says he can be pushed. Otherwise, Schumer would not have squawked today. I agree. Let's see, not calling again. LOL. You can call anytime. I love to hear your voice. 281-823-7747. You may actually start a catalyst of more people calling in. All right. Melanie Keelan says to Breach, you've got a lot to say. Yes, she does. All right. Michael Ronan said there are occasional stories. Yes, but it's statistical trend. Anecdotes are not data. Exactly. Anecdotes are not data. And that's why we have to use anecdotes and data in the way they should be used. All right, anecdotes. We can use anecdotes to qualify data, but we can't qualify data. Or rather, we can use anecdotes to qualify data, right? Or rather, let me back up. We can use data to qualify anecdotes. We can't use anecdotes to qualify data. That's, what am I? I'm going crazy sometimes. All right. Michael says, right-wing bubble makes example of every instance. They keep ginning up outrage from xenophobes. But he says the right just pushes fear, and it works. Yes, it does. Eric K just joined the house. He just joined the house. Let's see. Eric K says data was not all true last week in State of the Union. Really? Please tell me what data was wrong in the State of the Union. That's what I love when, people who would try to fact check Biden, right? But by the same token, they just let Donald Trump slide with outright lies. Biden may color a few things and make the statistics a little bit more. Let me give an example, right? Biden would say, I created 15 million jobs, right? And that's true. If the data says that since he's been in office, that's what has occurred. But many a times, a part of that 15 million jobs or whatever is people going back to work from the pandemic. So while the data says to credit him to it and he accepts the credit for it, it's a bit disingenuous, right? So that is a kind of leeway that Biden took in his speech in certain areas. But Trump outright lies. He simply lied. The data doesn't matter for Trump. Trump lies doesn't even have a semblance of correlation with the data. And if you doubt me, let's go ahead and play the last video. You're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. It's going to be a very, very long election season. And when you have a former liar in chief that is on the other side campaigning, you are going to have to keep the pressure on. And for every lie that he tells, you got to correct it. You got to show the actual data. And after you show that, you have to go ahead and show why it matters to the people, not only the people that's in your echo chamber, but the people throughout America. Let's listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Trump has been sticking to familiar attack lines about President Biden. Joining us now with a fact check is former Treasury official and Morning Joe economic analyst Steve Rattner. He's got it all in charts. With the issue of crime, take a look.
We are a nation where free speech is no longer allowed and where crime is rampant and out of control like never, ever before.
He's always going with the carnage, Steve. Is it true?
No, crime is not out of control like it's ever been before. And in fact, crime is actually continuing to drop under President Biden. So let's take a look at violent crime. This is per 100,000 people in relationship to our size of our population. And you can see that violent crime actually since 2020 has dropped by 15%. 339 violent crimes per 100,000 people. It's below any place it was during during the Trump administration, and it's had this huge drop in 2023. The same is basically true of property crime. This is people robbing homes and things of that like, down 7%, 1,830 per 100,000 people. So this is a complete fiction that crime is up under the Biden administration.
There are different areas of the country experiencing different things, and a mixture of crime and homelessness is very personal to people in their neighborhoods. But again, you can't deny the data and the trends that we're seeing. There's also Donald Trump's false claims when it comes to President Biden's energy policy. Listen.
On day one of our new administration, we will end Biden's nation-wrecking war on American energy. He's wrecking the energy business.
Steve Rattner, again, what are the facts?
We have had record energy production under the Biden administration. This combines nuclear, fossil fuels, and renewables. And you can see here that we have never had energy production this high. And then the other thing that he says is that he's going to make us energy independent again. Well, the fact is we are energy independent. We've been energy independent now for 5 years. And in fact, our energy exports, mostly oil, but also some natural gas, hit a record last year. So in fact, America we produced more oil than any country in the world has ever produced in history.
He talks a lot about the economy and how it was better under him, and also attempting to rewrite history on the deficit and debt. Listen.
We were going to pay off debt. We were going to reduce taxes further. We gave you the biggest tax cut in the history of our country, bigger than the Ronald Reagan tax cut.
The actual numbers show something very different, right, Steve?
Yeah, he did give us a big tax cut. That part is true. But what it did was it actually increased the deficit. So when he says that we were on track to pay off the debt, look what happened to the deficit even before COVID. Even before COVID, because of his tax cut, the deficit was going up, up, up. And then, of course, COVID hit. And under Biden, he's actually brought it down, and in his new proposed budget, he would bring it down further. And so because of that huge deficit, when he talks also about how he was going to pay off the debt during his first term, he in fact added more debt than any other president in history. Some of it, yes, was COVID, $3.6 trillion. But there was also $5 trillion of debt that had nothing to do with COVID. And Trump signed a whole series of spending bills that increased our spending by over $2.5 trillion. So the idea that he was a president that was going to attack the deficit and debt problem is actually completely false.
And Steve, when President Biden put out this week his projected budget, there was a lot of pearl clutching from Republicans about adding to the deficit when they were completely silent for the most part, as Donald Trump added $8 trillion to the deficit. The chart directly behind you on the war on energy, the one you talked about a minute ago, Donald Trump has been posting drill, baby, drill quite a bit lately. Is it fair to say that sounds more like an endorsement of what Joe Biden's doing right now?
Yeah, this drill, baby, drill stuff I find astonishing because obviously you only get record energy production by drilling, and we have been drilling. Obviously, there are concerns about fossil fuels. We need to transition away from them. But for now, we need them. And the idea that Biden has been anti-energy or somehow curtailed our drilling is completely belied by the fact that we are producing record amounts of oil and natural gas.
The only problem I see here, and this is not a joke, is that we could do our entire 4-hour show fact-checking everything Donald Trump says, and we would not even scratch the surface. That's the problem that we're confronting in this election and for this country moving forward.
Steve Rattner did an exceptional job in the way he simply debunked these specific lies by Donald Trump. It is something that we have to do over and over again. It is something that we can't wait for Trump to just do it, but we got to keep the people educated that the charlatan that is Donald Trump we cannot give this guy a break because he lies he has no shame. And as such, he doesn't care if you know that he's lying. He hopes that by continually lying, you will actually believe that there is something to what he's saying. There's not. He's a liar, and the leaders of the Republican Party are liars. And the problem is they are a clear and present danger for the entire country because you cannot build a foundation on lies. You cannot build something sustainable on lies because you're building on something that's non-existent. Exactly. You cannot build a foundation on lies, people. You cannot. Anyway, let's see. Michael Cisak says, Brija MCP, you mean like GOP is going to take away your Social Security, Medicare, and welfare? Yeah, that's what we mean. That's not exaggeration. That is what they intend to do. I mean, they said it. Donald Trump even recently said it. We can cut. We don't need to cut Social Security. We need to expand Social Security. And how do we pay for it? We take the money that the wealthy is really legally stealing. Notice I said legally stealing because that's what they're doing, right? Meaning we got to change the laws. All right, let's see what else we got. Scott Youngerman says, do we have National Guard deployed in 2 different states right now? Yep, Texas and New York. All right. Bridge MCP says, who lied more during the first 100 days, Biden, Trump, or Obama? Article is 2 years old. Instead of investigating the first 100 days in terms of productivity or promises kept, let's look at another characteristic, honesty. It is important to hold leaders accountable to the truth, especially early in their presidency. The Washington Post suggests President Donald Trump told 30,573 false or misleading statements over 4 years. Based on this number, he's clearly a prolific liar. But were his lies observable during the first 100 days? Crucially, how does President Trump compare to other leaders as President Biden and President Obama? I collected data from PolitiFact, a nonprofit site that fact checks politicians and other personalities. PolitiFact has consistent standards across politicians. They fact check and will review statements that are verifiable, give a false impression, or significant to the public, are likely to be shared, and are likely to be questioned by others. PolitiFact's categories statement into one of 6 groups. In his first 100 days, President Trump had 29 statements assessed by PolitiFact, 17 false compared to 12 statements from President Obama and 4 statements from President Biden. As a raw count, Trump told more falsehoods than Biden and Obama combined. It is amazing, isn't it? Lee Grant says, I wonder if having fewer cops affects the accuracy of crime states. No, I don't see why it would. Bring deficits down to $35 trillion. What are you saying, Eric? Your guy put more amount in that small amount of time than anybody else. Michael Ronan says Trump's tax cuts mostly benefited the wealthy, but it's deeper. I'm going to continue reading it, Michael, but here's the deal. Trump's tax cuts for the wealthy was permanent. His tax cut for we the people was temporary. Think about that. Tax cuts for we the people, temporary. Tax cuts for the wealthy, permanent. Remember that. It's a point that used to be front and center. Now they are focused on skyrocketing national debt, something that conservatives care about, but they'll never blame Trump for it. But they never really cared about it. Even their Lord Jesus Christ, El Señor Reagan. Even Reagan was spending like a drunken sailor. Take a look at the stats. I wrote it in my book, As I See It, Class Warfare, the Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom. In that book, I went ahead and I compared Obama, Bush, Bush again, Reagan, Carter. And you can see how bad Reagan really was, both fiscally and otherwise. And you know, while they always talk about Reagan Revolution and how great Reagan's economy was, what they always fail to tell you is that Clinton was substantially better than Reagan in both the number of people hired, 21 point something million dollars versus I think 16 million for for Reagan, but you don't hear that in the news. The news is always biased towards giving credit to Republicans for doing things they've never done. But hey, that's how we live, right? Michael Rattner says Trump lied 30,000 plus times when in office and failed fact check that than all previous presidents combined. Trump is a pathological liar, but again, conservatives don't seem to care as if we were living in a post-truth world. We are living in a post-truth world, especially since we have AI now that unless you can discern yourself, AI will fool you. All right? Okay, let's continue reading. Let's see what else we got here. Lee Grant says crime is up big in New York City subway. That's why Hot Jill called in a National Guard. Yeah, she called it in to make sure and clean it up because right now there's a whole lot of, yeah, it's fine. But I think it's fine. Representative from E2247. Representatives and senators really don't want to hear what you got to say. They really do call your rep today. Vote for resolution 1060. What's 1016? I know it. I just don't, what can I say? Anyway, Bridge MCP said, Lee, it's not big. According to the amount of people just making sure it stays low. 8 million people live there. And they were 8 million people, and they just activated I think it was 750 National Guards people. Hey guys, I am sleepy. I've got my 3 videos done. So unless somebody calls in or somebody keeps the chat going with something for me to bring additional information to, we will check out early. So I would love to hear people call in 713 or rather 281-823-7747. I'll try one more time. 281-823-7747. Call in if you have anything that you want to add. Bridge MCP said Egberto's update on Linda. Linda is in a lot of pain. She is in a lot of pain. The shingles, she has lupus. So the shingle really affects her more than it affects most people. So that nerve pain on the right side of her face and jaw and head, it's murderous. So we are giving her a lot of they gave her gabapentin, I think it's called. Let me answer this here. Let's see. That's not a call. Anyway, folks, give us a call. 281-823-7747. Michael says, looks like both of us need to check out a few minutes early. I am so... Look, I've been gabapentin. Oh, wow. Lee Grant, how do you know about that, Lee Grant? It's for nerve pain. Could you tell me how you know about that? Eric Hayes says 452 billion costs per year to pay for outgirls coming. I don't know what that is. All right. Lee says, Lee, it's not big. According to amount of people just making sure it stays low. That is correct. Let's see. Looks like both of us need to check out. I think I got that already. Okay, folks, let's try again one more time. Call into the show. 281-823-7747. All right, Bree says, Egberto Willis, she really needs to take narcs. Gabapentin is okay. I'm on it. But she needs to nip it in the bud. She is taking Norco. She's taking Norco, which is, I think it has 325 milligrams of Tylenol, as well as a dosage of hydrocodone. And so far, she tries not to take it because she is scared that she doesn't want to get addicted to it. Let's see, E2247 says, Berto, we deputize you to go home to Mother Linda the best way you can. Go home. Now, I love you, E2247. You know that? Actually, I love all of you. I love all of you. You guys are wonderful and great. It's been rough because, I've been having to run downstairs and kind of give a little massage in her head to help with the pain. No, it's Norco, N-O-R, brother, N-O-R. She won't. She is not an addict. I got you, girl. I got you. All right, folks, let me start checking out then. I want you guys to please, prayers going up for her. Thank you so kindly, Yvette Avery Herod. Love you, girl. Thank you. We need those prayers for her head because she is, Let me tell you, I have not seen her this miserable for a long time. Tom Sarnik, how you doing, Tom? Tom, I didn't see you advertise out there. How you doing, my
Steve,
brother
can you hear
Tom?
me?
Yes, I can. How you doing? Tom, can you hear me? Hello, Tom.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
here,
I can
Tom.
hear
You should.
you if you can hear me.
I can hear
Okay, I
you. I
know
don't.
you're tired, and I just wanted.
Yeah, go ahead.
You hear me?
Yes,
All right.
I can.
I sent you an email today about the prior authorization article in the New York Times. I don't know if you saw that. It's a real good
I
video.
I
You
I
might want to
haven't
use
seen
it
it yet. I haven't seen it, but I'll go. I'll definitely go look for it.
because it addresses a lot of the issues that you cover about healthcare and I was thinking about what you said the other day about the importance of an advocate, and I would remind everybody that if you have a loved one that goes in urgent care or into the hospital, make sure that person has an advocate with them as much as possible, if not all the time, at least most of the time, because I'm telling you, there's so many things going on in the bureaucracy of the hospital and the insurance company that make it almost impossible for people to get adequate care. And this article in the New York Times that came out today, it's on prior authorization. It's a video, actually, it's an 8-minute video, and it covers people that have had issues, went to urgent care or the hospital, and the people in the hospital, the administrator would keep delaying treatment because they didn't have prior authorization from the insurance company. And one lady became blind, another man died, another man got cancer treatment too late, and it was awful. It's just a nightmare. So this is another issue that has to do with the private healthcare system that we have. And the more I think about it, the more we need not just Medicare for all, but we need some real controls on how our healthcare is administered in this country. I know people would be against the nationalization of the whole healthcare system like Great Britain has, but on the other hand, we need something maybe in between what they have and what we have in order to control the cost and make sure everybody gets adequate healthcare, because right now it's a nightmare.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. By the way, can you hear me through the telephone, Tom, or was there an issue?
I can hear you now. I've got my earbuds on, so I can hear you.
Okay, great. Well, let me tell you something. I want, believe it or not, what I want, and I think it'll take us a while to get. I do want nationalized health care, and the reason why is that's the only. When you have fee for service, you have to get service for the companies to make a profit. When you have nationalized health care, it does not matter. What really matters is your health. And I don't know why it is so hard for people to understand that you cannot have good health care that is for profit. By design, for profit precludes the ability to have good health care. I mean, uh, it, it, there's no incentive not to have a service to provide you, and you only need a service if you remain sick. I mean, it's not rocket science, and we just need people to start understanding these concepts. But thank you for that advice, and I'm going to go look for that article that you sent me. All right, my brother.
Yeah, and if you can play it online on your show, that would be great.
I
Okay, thank
will.
you.
I thank you very much. Thank you
Okay.
so kindly for calling in. Hey, we got a call from Brother Sarnik. He is our resident limerick writer. I think he's the best limerick writer that I've come across, and he writes them pretty quickly. But anyway, folks, this is time where I'd say please support the program. Look, I'll be honest, we are in dire straits. We need a lot more support from our listeners, from both on podcasts, live, and otherwise. So I want to ask you so kindly, there are many ways in which you can support the program, make sure that we can stay on healthy and, and be able to survive. And to do that, you can go to politicsdoneright.com/support. That is politicsdoneright.com/support. That gives you all the different ways in which you can support the program to make sure we stay funded. Now, additionally, or specifically, we have a Patreon. You can support us by becoming a patron. All patrons get a chance to read all of our books. And we have Bridge MCP on. Good afternoon, Bridge MCP. How is our beautiful lady doing?
I'm doing better than you, bub.
Talk to me.
I don't want to harp on this, but someone who's gone through 4 or 5 heart attacks, broken bones, stenosis, ribs, back, all this crap, and knee surgery and ankles, whatever. I know how she feels about being addicted.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. But she's not nipping it in the butt, and she has to, because what she's taking is going to do diddly squat for her pain.
Okay.
And the pain is going to get out of control, and she will not be able to get it back into control. Once it's out of control, you can't get it back. She really has to get Ashley on this to just 2 or 3 days. Take something stronger. Be laid out. It doesn't matter. It'll relax her. It'll put her at ease. She has loved ones around her. And once that happens, she can go back to what she's doing. I just need you. I need her to hear that.
As soon as I get off of the show, I'm going to her and tell her, nurse, Bridge MCP says this, okay? So as soon as I get off, that's what we're going to do, okay?
Because I still have Oxycontin from 10 years ago.
Wow.
I mean, I used it. I was off it. That was it. I was done.
Okay,
I still have it. I just saved it because, just whatever. But I want to keep you. I know you're tired.
Well, look, Bridge, I'm going to do that. Thank you so kindly, sis. All right?
All right. Say hi to everybody. Prayers.
I will do that. Thank you, babe. Anyway, folks, support the program. How can you support the program? Go and support us on Patreon. That's politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. If you support us on Patreon, remember, you will get access to all our books as well at our website. If you support us via our newsletter, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, you can read all our books on the Substack platform. So we have a lot of ways that we say it's an interchange, right? Support us at our newsletter. You can read all our books online. Support us at our Patreon. You can read all our books on our website. It's a win-win situation, and you help us move forward. So politicsdoneright.com/Patreon, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. There are a lot of other ways that you can support us. Just go to politicsdoneright.com/support, and that has all the other options. And by the way, my book is shipping now. Tribulations of an Afro-Latino Caribbean Man. I tell you, I don't care who you are. I don't care what race you are or whatever. I guarantee you that when you see some of the things that I lived through as a Afro-Latino Caribbean man here in the States, you'll say, wow. And he still smiles, and he still feels the way he does, and he still loves this great country, and he still loves all the people in this great country. Go get the book, Tribulations of an Afro-Latino Caribbean Man. Racism Didn't Stop My Smile, Hope, or Journey. It's just a pleasant book. I guarantee you, just tells a story, several stories actually. So please go ahead and get the book. How can you get the book? You can get the book by simply going to politicsdoneright.com/books. So please go ahead and do that, and you'll help this program grow. So again, either go to our Patreon, our newsletter, our all-around support, or get our books. That is how we can continue doing this right now. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out!
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is politics done right.